Welcome to day 317 of our Deso journey. I'm Ed Trastenstein here with my twin brother Brian. And we have some news for today, not too much, but there's some exciting things to talk about. Remember, these videos are being sponsored by NFT Tech. They are an investor in CloutFeed. How's it going, Brian? Good, good. How's your weekend? It's going okay. But yesterday we got an update from DesoMessenger. Of course, last week we had them on our show and they told us that they were going to be releasing the group chats on Thursday, and then on Friday the mobile apps will come out for DesoMessenger. And I was super excited about that. I've been using DesoMessenger a whole lot. The group chats and the mobile apps are not here yet though. And they provided an update. They said that group chats are imminent and probably anytime this weekend. And then mobile apps should come sometime next week, hopefully early next week. I'm excited about the mobile app. I think that's going to be great to be able to have mobile notifications set on my phone, and just if I'm out, I can just reply to somebody on Deso quickly and easily. Yeah, and I think they had a very, very advanced timeline that they wanted to roll all this stuff out last week. They ran into a couple hiccups. It's definitely better that they kind of roll out a product that is ready to be rolled out rather than rush things out. So I'm glad they're taking their time. Ultimately, it's not going to matter if it took an extra week or two to roll out the mobile app. But great job. They're doing really good. Like Ed said, it's already a very useful app. And as they add these additional features and the mobile apps, things are really going to kind of pick up, I think. Yeah, and they did add features throughout the week. They added the ability to send images in your messages, which is really cool. And they also added emojis. There's an emoji button where you can add emojis when you're typing your message. Again, if you haven't tried it, you can go to app.desomessenger.com. I like it. I like it a lot better than the Diamond app messaging system. It's easier for me. I have desktop notifications set, so I get a notification every time I get a message, which is cool. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but it's still cool. So yeah, that's great. Also yesterday, Brutal made a post pointing out that a ton of these usernames are being registered on Deso, especially not domain names, three-letter usernames like ZXT, ZWY. Like there's all these three letters and a bunch of four-digit numbers are being created. I think it's just people trying to
username squatting
names.
Yeah, it's like domain squatting, but it's with Deso usernames. Because if web3 becomes the future and this is kind of the social layer to the internet, then usernames are going to be just as valuable as domain names in some ways.
Yeah, and I don't know. I kind of feel something needs to be done because there's also people registering a bunch of names from celebrities and influencers, and also corporations. I think there's going to be a lot of issues where a top-notch influencer or celebrity wants to come onto Deso, and somebody already has their account name, and in order for them to get it, they're going to have to offer that person money. I don't like that. I think something has to be done. I don't know what can be done though, since this is decentralized. How do you handle usernames that are not really, they don't really belong to the rightful owner of that name? Maybe there could be some sort of council set up where, there's a DAO that controls that. I don't know.
Yeah, like I totally agree. I think that it is becoming an issue. I guess one thing with like pseudo celebrity usernames, they can always choose something that they don't use on another platform, but it is becoming increasingly, I think, tough if you start seeing like actual whole names of these people being registered. One way to maybe stop some of it is to increase the fee for registering a new username, but then you're kind of putting in another roadblock for people to sign up. So like it's kind of like a no-win. One thing I could say is maybe like some of the shorter ones, like the three-digit, three-character, four-character ones, maybe they could raise the fees of that at the core level. So like I went to Open Prosper this morning just to check out who was registering, and it was literally all numbers. It was like 356. No, it's like 3504, 3505, 3506. And it was just like every there were four-digit numbers all in order. And it was like somebody just buying them all up. And I think ultimately, I think that could hurt the ecosystem, but I'm not sure what the right approach would be. But I think if Core is listening to this, I think they got to figure something out just so you don't have like practically every username 5 characters and less being bought up, or not bought up, but registered. I think something needs to be done there.
Yeah, and like also like what if, Coca-Cola, somebody registers Coca-Cola and then Coca-Cola is like, we really want to be on Deso, but somebody has our username. What can we do? And can there be anything that's done? I don't know. Like, I don't know what the solution is, but I definitely think the problem that needs to be talked about within the community and within the core team about how that can be handled, because it's going to get out of hand before long, and something needs to be done. And this is the shining example of why when Deso launched, or when BitClout launched, they reserved the handles of the top 10,000 Twitter users so that this doesn't happen to them. So, it's a good example of why Natter decided to do that, but now we're seeing it happen on a different level. So we'll have to see
Yeah,
how.
and just something I could point out is that, like, we were involved with I guess the domain name rush in the early 2000s, and we bought a lot of three-letter domains, and they definitely went up in value. But when like, that's okay in my mind, like buying like YMK or something like that and just sitting on it. I mean, that's an investment. But when you're buying say a trademark like Coca-Cola or like Nike or any other, like even just a name, I think that's kind of stepping over the line. With domain names, of course, you have the court system. They actually have a special system set up where you can dispute a domain name, and ICANN, the domain register, the international domain registrant, can actually overrule a registration and return it to the rightful owner. But with DISA, you don't really have that. I mean, sure, core could do something, but then you have the whole, it's not really decentralized argument. So I think I don't know what the solution is for trademarks. Domain names have a solution, but this doesn't. And I think it's something that needs to be discussed in the open, because as we move forward, it's going to become a problem, I think.
And I think ultimately what we're going to see is there's going to be some nodes that pop up, or some organizations that pop up that kind of decide, create some ban lists that other nodes can use. And maybe, like if somebody's cyber squatting on a corporation's name or a celebrity's name, that could be added to a ban list so that that account could be blocked vastly on multiple nodes. And of course, nodes don't have to follow this ban list, but I think ultimately we're going to go in a direction where there's going to be some organizations that pop up that do create these ban lists to kind of help nodes decide on what accounts should and should not be on their nodes.
Well, and one thing that's different with domain names, I know I keep going back to domain names, is that you have different extensions. So you could, maybe somebody registers briankrasenstein.com, but briankrasenstein.net or .org might still be available that I could use. With Deso, you don't really have that. You don't have these alternate extensions. Well, maybe one day we will have something like that. Who knows? But for right now, it's tough, and I think that an open dialogue about it is important.
For sure. Yeah, so yesterday, Tony Lewis teased something coming from Deso No Code. He said that next week there's something coming, and it's going to be even more revolutionary than the private vaults that they launched this week. And he also said it's something never seen before on any other Deso node. So it's going to be interesting to see what they have in store. Tony and his father running Deso No Code. I guess it's his father, right? Dennis Lewis is his father.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
They created Deso No Code, and they're using this Deso No Code to create revolutionary apps. So they're going to be putting some really cool stuff out, I think. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Natter yesterday gave an update on Postgres, Brian.
Yeah, as you know, us at NFTZ, we've been having issues with Postgres. It has kind of stalled some of the things we had planned for this week and next week. But it seems like the issue is being worked on. I know Lazy Nina is working on a solution, but basically it wasn't allowing us to sync the database. And I know other nodes have had the same issue. But Natter gave an update on GitHub, and he basically said that the core team actually has some concerns about Postgres as Deso scales. So as you get more and more users under Deso, they are a little bit concerned about the scaling of Postgres. And that's kind of why they haven't given a go or a no-go as to where the future of Postgres lies on Deso. But Natter said that he thinks with the help of Hypersync, that they're going to be able to at least scale reasonably well, he said. So I think they're kind of iffy, like should we or should we not like go full in on Postgres, or should we find another solution? I think the fact that NFTZ and other nodes are using it, they want to kind of try and make it work, but we'll see. And at least for now, the issue should be corrected shortly. But the future, we don't know. Maybe they're going to decide that Postgres might not be best, and we'll move to other things. But for now, Nader said he thinks that Hypersync will allow them to scale reasonably well.
I do remember maybe mentioning MySQL at one point, the possibility of moving from Postgres over to MySQL. And I like MySQL. I've used it before in the past on other websites. So I think that would be a good option. But again, I think there's a lot of different factors that go into this. Yesterday, Bad Santa's Deso Got Talent round 1, the submission period ended, and there were 43 submissions, which were all of them are incredible. Like, I don't think there's one that I said, oh, that's crap. Like, they're all really good submissions. I just voted this morning. It was so hard. I had to actually go through everybody. All the judges are actually voting, putting every single entry in order from top to last. So I had to put 43 of them in order. It was a lot of work. I don't think anybody really expected to get that many submissions, but it's been awesome, round 1. And whoever makes it from round 1 to the final round, they're going to win $100. And whoever wins the overall tournament is going to win $500 on top of that.
Yeah, so many great entries. It was so hard to pick which ones we thought should win, because there were some really, really good quality entries that you could tell people took a lot of time in submitting. I'm looking forward to the rest of the month and what's to lie ahead. But great work to the whole community for kind of taking this up and submitting your work. I love looking through them all.
So who were the top Deso earners over the last 30 days?
Yeah, so I checked out Open Prosper, so Lil Sethi's node, and I just want to look. He has a list of the top earners. You can check by the week, by the day, or by the month. And for the month, here's the list. I thought we'd go through them really quick. GD Virtual Galleries was the top earner of the month. They actually earned a total of 228 Deso, which at the current price is a little bit over $11,000. Following GD Virtual Galleries is an account Faeryn, Faeryn, and they earned 170 Deso, which is about $8,300. We were third at 109 Deso, followed by Unicat at 89 Deso, Paul Burke at 81 Deso, DesoMon, the NFT account at 65 Deso, G Joe at 63 Deso, Tunnel Eros, which is the big Spanish NFT series that's really awesome. We own one of ourselves. They earned 62 Deso. Woofy X Crypto earned 62 Deso also, and the last of the top 10 is Scrutinize at 55 Deso. So there's been a lot of earnings. I'm not exactly sure. I think this might take into account if you have a secondary sale of an NFT. So you got to keep that in mind. So some of these people might have sold an NFT on the secondary market for high value, so it increased their earnings. But yeah, it's interesting. And I also checked out the last 24 hours. And in the last 24 hours, there's been a total of 67.67 Deso earned, which is about $3,300 by everyone on Deso. So not bad. I mean, I think there were like, I don't know, this is basically 1,800, 1,900 accounts that actually earned anything over like a few bucks. But I think it's promising. Of course, I'd like to see this number a lot higher. And I'm sure we did back probably a few months ago. But yeah, I think 11 creators in the last 24 hours earned at least one Deso, which is about 45 bucks. Not bad. I mean, a day of earning. You don't earn anything on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. So I think anything is better than nothing.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll see these numbers go up, I think. Yesterday, Mubs provided stats on DesoGeo. That's his map app that he created, where you can put your name on the map, and you can kind of see who lives in your area. You can really see who lives anywhere in the whole world on Deso if they're added to the app. Definitely check it out, desogeo.com, and add yourself if you haven't already. But so far there's been 187 users who have joined from 45 different countries, which I find pretty interesting. The top 3 countries are the United States with 67 users, the Netherlands with 17, and India with 11. What do you make of those stats?
Yeah, and I think like number four was the UK at 10 or 11. So yeah, I mean, to be expected, the US is leading the way by a lot. I think that's because a lot of the VCs in the beginning were from the United States. A lot of people that got on board in the beginning were from the United States. So a lot of money from the United States is in DeSo. But the Netherlands, I mean, that's really, I think, a lot to do with what Social World's doing and Ado. I think there's just a lot of people in the Netherlands interested in DeSo. I mean, even our partners on NFTZ are from the Netherlands. And in India, one of the most populated countries on the planet, I think that's a given. But yeah, it's nice to see a good variety, 45 different countries on Deso Geo. I can't wait to see this fill in. So we have like, instead of 187, we have maybe like 3,000 people, and then things would get really interesting. It's good to see the stats because you can kind of figure out where things are working, what areas people are being appealed to, and whatnot.
Exactly. And Mubs is doing a great job like always. But I think that's all we have for today. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you tomorrow on Monday.